In the year 1859, a frail but determined black woman from New Hampshire put ink to paper, not with dreams of fame, but with the desperate hope of survival. Harriet E. Wilson, born into a world that scorned both her race and her poverty, released a book titled Our Nig, or Sketches from the Life of a Free Black. She prayed it might put food on her table. Instead, it became a startling, unsettling mirror of America's false freedom, a book destined to outlive her and shape generations to come. For over a century, her voice was buried under dust and denial. Scholars assume the novel belonged to a white hand. But in 1983, the literary detective work of Henry Louis Gates Jr. revealed the truth. The author was a black woman, and the story was deeply autobiographical. This discovery shattered long-held beliefs, rewriting literary history and positioning Wilson, not Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, as the first African-American to publish a novel in the United States. 1825. Born in Milford, New Hampshire, Harriet, called Hattie, or Frado, entered the world at the margins, the child of a white washerwoman and a black barrel maker. 1828 to 1831. Her father died when she was still a toddler. Soon after, her mother abandoned her at the home of the Haywards, where the little girl became an indentured servant, enduring labor and neglect in a household that claimed freedom while treating her like property. 1832 to 1834. For a brief flicker of time, she attended school, 3 months a year, only to return to endless servitude. 1840s, she labored in households, fell sick repeatedly, and was often reduced to the ranks of town paupers, forced to depend on charity farms and foster care. Still, she endured. In 1851, she married Thomas Wilson, a man whose absences and eventual death at sea left her destitute with a child. Her son, George Mason Wilson, born in a poorhouse, became the fragile center of her existence. Yet tragedy followed. In 1860, at just 7 years old, George died, his short life extinguished by the same grinding poverty that stalked his mother. But Harriet Wilson refused to disappear. She wrote, she sold hair products. She reinvented herself as a spiritualist medium, drawing crowds in Boston and beyond, her voice finally commanding the attention that society had long denied her. From 1867 to the 1870s, she became a familiar name in spiritualist newspapers, standing on platforms before vast audiences, speaking beside reformers like Victoria Woodhull. For a black woman once enslaved by freedom in the North, this was nothing short of radical. Yet, as with many pioneers, history allowed her to fade again. By the 1890s, she lived quietly in Boston's South End, working as a nurse, her name half forgotten even as her story remained etched in her book. On June 28, 1900, Harriet Wilson died in Quincy Hospital, malnourished, her occupation listed as nurse. She was buried in a modest plot at Mount Wollaston Cemetery. Few came to mourn, and yet her legacy refused to vanish. The first African-American novelist, a survivor of abandonment, poverty, and erasure, whose voice continues to echo with raw freedom in America was never free.